Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how I created this rainbow dress inspired by Morgan Donner's rainbow dress. And I will leave the link to her video making this in the iCard above and in the description below. As always, I create my patterns using a mannequin or dress form that I have in roughly the size of my daughter. This pattern does consist of a total of 12 pieces, and at the side backs of the bodice it will be a lace-up top. I do place the bodice patterns on the rainbow dress. I want each pattern piece to have its own separate color. And I cut one set for the outer layer and one set for the lining. And here is what one side of the bodice will look like. And for the skirt, it's just going to be the rest of my fabric that I cut into rectangle. And I do cut these into 4 pieces because I want the red to go from the center front and circle around her and go to the center back. And these panels will get gathered down with elastic. And the reason for this outfit is my daughter's Spirit Week is coming up at her school, and one of the day's themes happens to be wear your favorite color. She couldn't choose, so she decided she wanted to dress up as a rainbow. And as you see here, I am just putting the pieces together in order. I have numbered each and every single piece with chalk, and it will come off later on. With all my bodice pieces cut out and pinned together, I do go ahead and fuse the lining layer with some fusible interfacing. It will give stability to the grommets that I will add in later. With the fusible interfacing attached now, I go ahead and sew all those seams together. I do leave the shoulder seams unsewn. Now I give the seams a good press. Here I do pin the shoulder seams, however, that was a mistake later on. So I do end up unpicking those later, and I'll show you how I stitch those together later on. With all the panels pressed, I go ahead and attach the back pieces and the front pieces together to the lining layer. I go ahead and sew all the edges except for the bottom edge. Once that is all sewn together, I go ahead and clip all my quarters, and I do clip in the seam allowance in all the curves so that way it sits flat when it's turned right side out. Now it's time for the fun job of flipping all this. And here you can see that the back panel of the bodice has been unpicked from the shoulder seams. And once it's flipped right side out, I go ahead and give it a good press. And then on the bottom seam that I left open, I go ahead and I actually serge my edge there. And I use bias tape to cover that raw edge. And I do this for all the panels. I do machine stitch the front edge to it, and then I hand sew the inside with some simple whip stitches. For the shoulder seams, I go ahead and I fold the front shoulder seam in on itself, that way, and iron it down, that way it's a clean edge. And then I just shove the back panel inside that, and then I go ahead and top stitch that down. For the skirt that I pinned together, I go ahead and sew all 4 of those side seams together. And I do serge all my edges on this skirt. Once that's done, I go ahead and I folded the hem of it about a 1/2 inch up and pin that down, and then I flip it over and I do make another folded edge to create an elastic channel, and this will be folded down and ironed about 2 inches. With those pinned down, I go ahead and I sew about 3/4 of an inch from the edge for the elastic channel, and then I go ahead and sew another line of stitches about a 1/2 inch from that. This will be my elastic channel that I will add the elastic into later. And I do leave an opening in that elastic channel so I can actually insert the elastic to it. And then I go ahead and flip it around and I sew up the hem. For elastic, I use a safety pin on each side so that way I can use the elastic on one end to weave it in through the channel, and then so I don't lose the tail end, I use the other safety pin it to the skirt itself. Many times I have ran an elastic through something and didn't realize that I pulled it all the way through and had to fish it out again. And with it gathered down to my daughter's waist, I go ahead and sew that elastic together and then close up that hole. To attach the skirt to the bodice, I just go ahead and sew some hooks and bars to the bodice and the skirt. Apparently I did not record putting the grommets in, but I do have other videos that show how I use my grommet press to put them in. I do put 8 on the front and 6 on each side. And then to make it a little bit more fun, I had these rainbow flower buttons that I just randomly sewed all over it. And then I paired it with one of her white polo shirts that she has to wear for school. It actually was really cute and she enjoyed it, and she was able to dress up as her favorite colors for that day. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and leave a comment down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye!